Hi, yes, welcome to my channel. Today let's look at other lead code question. The description of the question is as follows: that we were given an n by n grid that's composed of 1 on 1 squares, where each 1 on 1 square consists of either forward slash, backslash, or a blank space. These characters divide the squares into contiguous regions. We were given the grid and we need to find the number of such regions. Note that backslash characters are escaped, so that's obvious that backslash characters are always escaped, so we'll be having two of them. So let's consider the first example given, and we were given the first example empty space followed by followed by forward slash, and then an empty space. So in this case, you could see that there are two regions that are found with the help of this boundary. The two regions being one above the grid, one below the grid, and how is this happening? This is simple, and for solving this more easily, instead of solving this as character wise, I'll just simplify this further, and I'll just tell you that each cell in the earlier grid will be magnified into 3 on 3 grid. So how will it be magnified into 3 on 3 grid? That's fairly simple. If it's an empty space, then the 3 by 3 grid would be zeros, all zeros. For an empty space, followed by for the forward slash, the grid will be 0 0 1, followed by 0 1 0, followed by 1 0 0. And for the backward slash, the grid will be 1 0 0, followed by 0 1 0, followed by 0 0 1. So this is how we'll magnify each character that's present in this grid to 3 by 3 grid. So after magnifying this, what I'll do is simple. So let's consider that also for a given first example only. In this case, if I magnify the grid, then ultimately what I'll be getting is, and followed by a forward slash, that will be 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 0. And here also it would be 0 0 1, followed by 0 0 1 0, followed by 1 0 0. And here also it would be 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Now it identifies as solving the problem of finding number of islands in the sense number of zeros completely that are not connected to other part of zeros. In this case, here these are all the zeros that is having a one separated between, and these are all the zeros. So these zeros are disconnected from these zeros. So the number of regions here would be 2. That's how we'll solve this problem. So first I'll just call a function vector. No, I'll just make it void. Fill region. I'll call this as fill region, and I'll just call this as regions, followed by int row, int column for a given grid. Or I'll just call it a character ch. I mean at the current character of the grid. So I'll just check if my ch is equals to forward slash. In that case, what I will do is regions of my current row into 3, because we are magnifying each cell into 3 rows and 3 columns. So we need to multiply it with 3 to get a corresponding entity or corresponding 3 on 3 grid for a particular element. So regions of 3 into R, followed by 3 into C plus 2. So if we are at this grid, suppose 0 0 0, and we were given a forward slash, then we will be at the same row and column would be increased by 2. So that's the case that I'm doing here would be 1, followed by regions of 3 into R plus 1, followed by 3 into C plus 1 would also be equal to 1, followed by 3 into R plus 2. We are at this position, and column would be 3 into C. That's is equals to plus 1. And if our character is found out to be backward slash, then regions of 3 into current row followed by 3 into current column would be 1. Regions of 3 into row plus 1 by 3 into column plus 1 would be 1, followed by regions of 3 into rows plus 2 and 3 into columns plus 2 would also be equals to 1. So this is how it works. And for first case, what I'll do is int rows would be equals to grid dot size, number of elements that's present in the grid, and this would be grid 0 dot size. So I'll just initialize my regions vector, and this will be having 3 into rows followed by 3 into columns followed by 0. Great, got it. So how we are doing is we are just specifying that each cell or each cell in the grid is magnified into 3 on 3 grid. So there will be 3 into total number of rows that's present earlier and 3 into total number of columns. So I'll just iterate through all the rows that's present in my grid earlier. And I'm sure that you might have already got the why intuition that why we are doing is 3 into row and 3 into column. That's because if we are at a 2 element, or if we are at this character, that's a forward slash, then this for this our magnifying starts at this position. So we are not doing at this position, and we are ideally multiplying it with 3 into number of rows and 3 into number of columns to get our intuition. And so that's why we are multiplying with 3 into rows. So I'll just call fill regions row column, and row is I, column is j, and then ch would be grid of I, j. Got the point. Now I'll also call a BFS call to find the number of elements that are present, or the number of zeros that are separated by 1 is to find the number of regions. So I'll just call it regions. I'll just call it row, column. And for BFS, we could traverse in how many directions? In 4 directions. So I'll have a vector of array that's having 4 size with elements -1, 0, moving to the left side, 1, 0, moving to the right side, 0, -1, moving down, 0, 1, moving up. Great, got the point here. And here I'll also maintain a queue. I'll just make a BFS calls over here. And initially I'll just visit that one. So instead of becoming it 0, it would be 1. So regions of RC would be 1. I'll just push R comma C to make a BFS call. I'll just call this to while queue is empty. So now we'll just call friend Wisby equal to q dot friend followed by q dot pop, and then we also call regions of friend that we already initialized with 1. So what we'll do is for auto element that's present in the DR, our temp row would be element dot so it would be element of 0 plus what would it be, friend dot first, right? Because that's where our row is present, and our row is changing by dx value, that's element of 0, and followed by int mc, that would be element of 1, followed by friend dot second. So if my temp row is greater than or equal to 0 and temp row is less than, I'll just call rows and calls over here to get my total number of rows and columns that's present. So if my temp row is greater than or equal to 0 and temp row is less than or equal to rows, and temp column is greater than or equal to 0 and temp call is less than calls, then what would we be having is and also there needs to be other condition that's verified, and regions of temp row temp call is equals to 0, then we'll just make temp row temp call regions to be 1, followed by q dot push the temp row along with temp column. So got the intuition that we are doing here, and it's fairly simple. We'll just return nothing. So we'll just make a BFS calls and we'll just cover the entire region. So that's done, and I'll just initialize an answer value for it to have it needs to traverse through the entire region that's magnified. So we'll also traverse through the columns of it, and I'll just check if my regions of current row current j is equals to 0, then answer would be incremented by 1 followed by BFS of regions row column. So it would be BFS of regions, row would be I, columns would be j, and then we'll simply return the answer. So let me just check it out if there's some mistake or it's working fine. Uh, it needs to be in. I'm sorry for that. So it's working fine. To fairly reduce the complexity over here, I'm also specifying that I do not need to import any libraries from C that will help me to take in and give out output. So I'm just specifying that there should not be type for standard libraries that will be helping me for taking input and giving output. So that's done of it. So it's working fine. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment section.